Good morning.
It's gonna be bulkier.
I would talk to him because I want to.
Yeah.
The answer is
Because we
yes.
travel.
I just haven't had time to.
You know, we're not just getting in a
He
car.
mentioned that on Monday, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's like something that's in it. Like,
That's right.
That was that. So that statue is right at the
Yeah,
Lucas. Right, and he might have gotten it because I promise.
Wi-Fi.
I can even write all that down right now.
Look at me all early and stuff.
I think the same thing.
Holly? Holly, is that you, honey?
So back.
There's like 90 seconds.
I know, right?
Oh, man, I know I threw a pen in there before I got it.
Morning, how are you? Everything good? How was your meeting last night?
That's it.
Not bad.
So there's a caboose, and then there's,
No, but yeah, they need it.
it's confusing me, is the Jeep
Yeah. Well, they can be. You can have either one.
Thank you.
just go
Everything's relative, Mike. Everything's relative.
boardwalk.
Larger masses.
Because IT doesn't support it.
Top.
They let us have Apple phones, but they won't support any other like desktop Apple products.
I thought I was like legit early, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, dang, I'm running tight again.
Well,
I think you need to invite you to the IT department.
you can read
Well, you know it's my fault. It's all the commissioners'
Oh,
fault.
yeah, no.
posts.
Always the commissioners' fault. I miss the days of donuts and coffee at this meeting.
Oh no. Yeah, I would love to have it, but
And my iPad and my phone all
all synced up. I know, it's fantabulous.
so I can jump from one to the next to the next.
I feel like you're a drug dealer.
Slide it in under the table.
There we go, okay. Now I should get it. Oh, there it is.
Anytime for
I
you.
got it. Dana Young to
Yeah, we
retire.
hope.
We ready?
This one's one too. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Like to call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Like to call this meeting of the Tourist Development Council to order. Today is Sunday, December 11th at 9 a.m. And Jackie, you want to do the honors?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Invocation, if you would like to stand with us for invocation and pledge of allegiance, that would be fantastic.
Bow your heads if you're so inclined. Heavenly Father, we thank you yet again for the opportunity to meet freely and openly here and discuss what's good for the county and the residents. Thank you that we live in a free country, Lord. We pray at this time you bless all of our first responders, whether here, on a base, or overseas. Keep them all safe, bring them all home. Again, we thank you for the safety and traveling to and from the meetings with the traffic insanity. And we commit everything we do to you and pray that it's for the best of everyone, because we know, Lord, we can't please everybody. We just ask these things and thank you in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. All right, roll call, please.
all right. Good morning. All right, we have Mr. Mike Ingles, Max Showman, Jackie Hepfer, Dr. Desai, Commissioner Davis, Luann Jacobs, Michael Mankey, and let's see, Shoemaker is not here, and Chris Insing, our newest TDC, was just sworn in recently and just got his committee assignment from the city of Crystal River. He is not in attendance, but his first meeting will be in January.
Is that the oath of office that we have on the
Yes,
agenda? So
yes.
we'll pull that,
Mhm.
okay.
He had a prior commitment.
All right, thank you. So we'll skip over oath of office. Board looking for approval of agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Jackie Hepner, second by Max Schulman. Any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Looking for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jackie Hepner, second by Michael Mankey. And any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Open to the public. Would anyone like to address the board? Allison? No? You always hide from me behind the podium.
But I'm really bright. I just glow.
Yeah, well, I did see the halo over the podium, so, anyway.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so we'll close open to the public, and there's no presentations, no?
Gonna be quick.
This is gonna be a fast meeting.
Yay. Looks like I-
Director's report.
Well, I think one thing you know about me, I love fast meetings. After a very short BOCC meeting last night, thanks to Commissioner Davis.
I was not the problem.
It was a joke. It was a joke. No, it was
I
was
wasn't
good.
cheering that one.
It was good. Let's just say we all left with a good appetite. A good morning, everyone. First of all, I just a lot of good news, I think, just news in general. Last night at BOCC, all of our agenda items passed unanimously. Of course, our board leadership symposium. We'll be getting that together, our local lines television sponsorship. Of course, our updated bylaws in regards to our upcoming TDC meetings starting in 2025. Very happy to say that we are now officially going to be tipping 20%
Yay.
to our service industry partners. Like, that's a big win. Like,
is a big
that's
win.
what, you know, I remember my first dinner, fam dinner, and I was tipping. I think somebody from the staff told me I can't tip that much, so I think I took out an extra $20 out of my pocket in addition. And I've been doing that since February the 19th, and it's fine. But I said, okay, we got to change this, and very excited that everybody was on board. Couldn't have done it without you all approval, and excited to get that done. And then, of course, our Homosassa River Restoration Project, the MOU was also passed, of course, as well. That was something that was voted on and approved back in '23. So that was an update from BOCC, and that was really good. Now, I have a couple other things I wanted to discuss in regards to what's been going on. Before we get to what happened last week, which I thought was a rousing success with our strategic plan, I just want to kind of go over some hurricane numbers, some campaign information in regards to that. I'm going to be emailing you all out some more detailed numbers on the campaign and how things are going with, FEMA hotels and things of that nature. I know there is some concern, obviously, and not just concern with our destination, but along the entire West Coast. I was just at FADMO, Florida Destinations, my first FADMO event this past week, and there's a lot of destinations, not just ours, that are, I use the word struggling with not only FEMA and hotels, but just financially, their lack of openness to their destination, which, ours is, considered fairly open. So we're doing fairly well when we look at our constituents, to the south of us. So I was very pleased to see that we are faring very well from that standpoint. Now, in regards to our hotels, staff has taken a lot of surveys, has done a lot of calls to our hotels to figure out, exactly what is our ratio in regards to rooms and FEMA and everything. And what we found out is we have two properties that are approximately 95 and 93% FEMA. That is the Days Inn and the Quality Inn in Crystal River. Those rooms, let's just say 107 and 60 respectfully, they are basically mostly contracted with FEMA through, as of right now, January the 14th. Outside of that, we have a total of 185 rooms that are FEMA related. Those two properties make up 158 of those rooms. So those are the main hoteliers that have that. The next largest number is the Holiday Inn in Lecanto. They only have 12, but that contract is ending. Everyone else, 4, 3, 2, not a lot, and then some would just have 0. The bright side is we have a lot of hotels who are running at 95 to 100% occupancy, believe it or not, as well. The feedback that we're getting is, their November 2023 compared to 2024 is looking better.
That was contracted through when? January what?
January the 14th, which is the two largest. So Days Inn, Crystal River, and I'll email this out to you all. So, but Days Inn, Crystal River, 107 rooms, 102 are FEMA. Quality Inn, Crystal River, 60 rooms, 56 are FEMA. So that's 95, 93%. And those contracts are through January the 14th. What else? But like I said, the good news is the hotels the other properties that we did call are seeing increases and seeing an uptick from November of 2023, which that's some good news. With Zardogo and our partners, we are seeing, I'm still waiting on some numbers, but it looks to be that our VRBOs and our short-term rentals, let me just say our short-term rentals are also seeing an uptick as well. So that's good. Now we have an issue with reporting because of course, the Department of Revenue collecting, or we're not collecting our own taxes locally, which is, now that the strategic plan is moving, that is the next initiative for our staff, is to basically lean on to some neighbors of mine to the south who have successfully taken their collections from the DOR standpoint to a county standpoint. Once we do that, because we will, it's going to take a little time, but once we do that, we know that our collections will increase. Because right now, the Department of Revenue, from a Florida standpoint, they're just not able to enforce it, and we all know that. So there's money out there left on the table for us. So that's exciting news. It's just a lot of work to do, and I'll lean on Commissioner Davis and her position, hopefully, to try to help us along that process. Just a FYI. I'm going to lean on a lot of people because it's not that it's not an easy thing. It's just a process, trying to get people on the phone and all that kind of stuff. But the good news is once we find the money, but we know the money is there, we'll be able to support our tax collector locally. We have money in the statute where we can actually support them from a position standpoint, so we can actually have a dedicated person for us from an enforcement and collection standpoint, which would be amazing, and that'd be an investment worth paying, if you know what I mean. So I'm thinking you're looking at a couple of $1 million of tax collections that we are not seeing because of that.
Couple of $1 million
Per in addition per year that we are not seeing from a combination of short-term and even our RV resorts as well. It's just it's the state, so it's a little bit different. So any questions on the hotel standpoint? Oh, real quick. So I have 185 rooms from FEMA. We are at about 830 in available rooms. In regards to available rooms, also as well. Of course, that's not including the Plantation, Kings Bay Lodge. Terry, who else am I missing?
36 rooms down at Florida Monkey Island Riverside Resort now.
And Dr. Desai's property, his last bit of rooms should be opening around that January timeframe is what Dr. Desai's, the Paddletail Lodge. So he should be at 100%, in about a month. So that's the good news with that.
What's our total available rooms when we aren't hit with hurricanes and FEMA?
1396.
1396.
And we have how many open?
830.
8:30.
All right, so
What are our, all the other sources, bed and breakfast, VRBOs, those kind of things.
So yeah, so the short-term rentals, we know there's been an uptick in that. It's just hard to capture the data right now. So I feel like it's going to balance out because of the lack of increase with the hotel lodging. People are staying in the short term. That rise, they're seeing that rise in the short-term rental standpoint.
But do we have a baseline of what it is right now?
We don't have a baseline. That's the problem when we don't collect our own taxes. So it makes it harder to find the data. So in the future, we'll have it. Let me bleed into strategic plan a little bit. Berkeley Young, when he was in town, I don't know some of you, but he showed some of us what he did in Panama City Beach. And before they collected their own taxes, they were at about, now this is Panama City Beach. When he got there, in 2011, working with them, they were at like $9 million from a budget standpoint. They're now 55 million. Granted, it's Panama City Beach. But part of that was, now that they collect their own, he was able to break down it was impressive. I think Michael saw it. It was like the hotels, and not only break down, but by area. So we'll be able to break it down from Lecanto, Hernando, Floral City, Crystal River, Inverness. We'll be able to break down the short-term rentals from the areas of the county. Of course, the hotels by month, by day. It's pretty amazing, and that's the data we just don't have. We'll get it, but baby steps for right now. And I'm pretty excited about that process, because once we get it, I think it's gonna be a game changer for the community, for tourism standpoint anyway, from a development.
I know that when they went through that process in the Keys, they actually had a program where they went around to anybody that was advertising short-term rentals and said, we would like to offer y'all a chance to clear your previous record in case you didn't pay. Write us a check for $10,000 and there'll be no prosecutions, and they got a lot of money.
Okay.
Because there's people that know they should be paying the taxes and are not.
So we have about 1,000 short-term rentals on site, online, on a daily basis, basically. Well, in a given year, I should say. And so I'll look into that.
It's not fair to the hotels to
Yeah.
not.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, and it's a national issue. It's not just a Citrus County thing. The good thing is, I'm glad we're in a state where we collect, because a lot of states don't even collect. They still don't collect taxes from short-term rentals, and it really makes a hotelier feel a certain type of way. So we're collecting it. It's just now we have to kind of get it in-house where we can actually enforce it.
Well, the taxpayers feel that way too.
Right. Of course. So that's the hotel update. So what we're going to do though with this is going to be like a weekly thing for us. We're going to constantly, keep a tabs on what's available, where's FEMA, where they're not, et cetera, et cetera. And I think what we will do is, with some of my calls with Miles and some of our other partners, we will definitely, make sure our campaigns are not only for, obviously for lodging, but we want to make sure they can get something for whether it's the RV stays, the short-term rentals. So a lot of our messaging will be geared toward that as well. It's good to see that places like the Holiday Inn, both Holiday Inns, Wood Spring Suites, they're doing really well. I think Wood Spring Suites, now granted, it's a newer property, but and Dr. Desai, he probably already knows this, but they were at, 33% occupancy for November of 23, and this year, I think when Kelly called, they were 68% this year. So, that's double. So that's a good thing. On that note, when kind of moving into some of the numbers. So I thought it was kind of interesting with this article. So this is just for November. So our average stay value from a hotel standpoint was $396. Okay, for November. That was up 38% from $287 last year. Now, let's be fair and honest. We know some of those stays were probably because of the hurricane and displaced residents. All right. The average stay was 2.7 days, up 27% from last year. But what gives me hope and should give us hope is our campaign. So the ROI, we all spent $50,000 in this reopening campaign. And it's very early. The campaign launched November the 20th, for those who don't remember. So we're a couple of weeks into the campaign. So right now we have 47 confirmed travel groups since the campaign launch. That's flights, that's bookings into the marketplace. That equates to about a $23,000 500 economic impact. From a ROHA standpoint, that's our return on ad spend. So for every dollar we spend, we get about $1.81 back. That varies from $1.50 to $4 when you look at industry standards, but we're at about $1.81. So $1.81 to 1 ratio. Now, what's interesting is the average stays for these people for this, with their booking is 2.67. Very slightly below the Zarticle information. So that's kind of holding past. So that's telling me, and these are not, displaced residents. These are people coming into the market booking from the research and everything. So that's a good thing. I would say that I think the campaign is doing really well. Now, from a recovery standpoint, we have over 405,000 impressions. Our click per milli, which I'll explain, I think you all know, but from 1,000 standpoint, per 1,000 ads that the browser downloads, per 1,000, we're paying about $6.50. Industry standards is about 10. Now keep in mind, that's the entire campaign. So some campaigns are gonna be higher, some campaigns CPM are gonna be lower. It's just, it's just one of those things. Now, also with that, is the funnel. So as a DMO, you all know our job is we're focused on the upper part of that funnel. And it's 3 things that we're focusing on in regards to generate the traveler who's coming here. It's the awareness, it's the interest, and it's the intent. Those are the 3 things that we focus on from a DMO standpoint. Again, we're at the top of the funnel, okay? Now, we want those potential visitors to basically, we want to convert that decision to conversion, obviously. Now, once we have them in that top funnel, all these millions and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in that top part of the funnel, now here comes the relationship part with our partners. Mike, Luann, your businesses primarily are focusing on that lower half of that funnel, because now that from a marketing standpoint, from a DMO standpoint, we're generating that interest into the travel. So our metrics are going to be a lot different, and our goals and metrics are going to be a little bit different, because now you're trying to, now that these travelers have made a choice to say Citrus County is where we want to go, now they have to make a decision on where to stay, what to do, how long they stay. Does that make sense? Dr. Desai, same way with his properties and his restaurants. It's all the same. So that's where we are trying. We're doing fairly well from an upper funnel standpoint. Getting them down to that funnel, because you guys are focused on that lower part of that funnel. So with that said, we are pleased with the way things are going from that campaign standpoint. Really pleased with the reopening campaign launch and the numbers that we're seeing so far. I was talking to Terry earlier. She was very happy with the numbers as well. And then I even called around to some of the partners around the state of Florida. Some don't even have a reopen campaign because they're not reopened, and then some that have a reopening campaign, they're really focusing on, they're not even focusing on lodging at all. So we're trying to do a little bit of both, because we know that we have tour operators and like I give an example, like Mike Ingles, Chrissy Water Sports, and Paul Cross. I don't know if Paul's still here or not. Paul. These companies, we know that they are down from a year-over-year standpoint, but we've also hearing that January, for a lot of the companies that I've spoken to over the last several days, they're seeing an uptick in January and on target to be like some of the best January numbers yet. So there is some positive things going on in the community. So what we're doing as a staff is we are really communicating with our partners, finding out, hey, what are you seeing? Because they are on the ground. We're on the ground with them, but they are on the ground. So we're trying to figure out exactly, what they're saying, the numbers they're saying from, last year, this year, where the uptick is, where the downturns is, what we can do more to help, obviously, but then how does that January, end of December, January looking? And so far, we are seeing some progress and some good indicators in regards to that it's not all doom and gloom, because I don't believe it is all doom and gloom. Any questions on any of that from TDC? No? Okay. So we will continue to do the surveys, like I said. And on that note, so last, if you can go to the next slide, Christina, you guys in your packet should have, I'm sorry, but go back to the, okay. Well, I'm sorry, go back to the first one you had. Okay, there you go. All right. Yes, okay. So you guys should have this. I made it a little bit bigger, for you guys to read. And here's another indication where I know there's some positive flow here. Last month, when I showed you the same exact form, if you look at the top right corner, percent of visitors spend towards, remember, local businesses. This is not chain related. That was at like 24%, 23.5% last month. So we increased there. The total visitor spend throughout the entire county, and that's with everything, was at like 9% last month. We're at 11.5%. Again, an uptick. There's an uptick in attraction spend as well. I believe last month it was 34%. So we are seeing those increases. Though small, we are seeing increases. So that's a good thing. So we're excited about that. All the other things are kind of the same in regards to our top visitor markets from, last month to this month. Of course, no really change here in our demographics from our card holders and things of that nature. But 20% of the devices that were in the market were visitors, so that's a good thing. We have a lot of, if you look at the bottom of the form, we have a lot of, from a sample size standpoint, we have a lot of sample to take from a data standpoint, so that was really good. So we're really excited about that. So the numbers are backing up, not just Zartico, but it's Sojourn, it's Trip Scout. We're doing a lot of different things and variables in there, and all the different metrics that we have, not looking at one over another, they're all saying the same thing, in regards to the upticks, the increases, and they're kind of they're backing up each other in regards to the numbers, even with the hotel numbers, with our campaign about we know we have the bookings from the campaign, and those stays coincide with what the Zartico stays are, even though we know that Zartico number largely, a good portion of it is from displaced residents, so we know where that comes from. Yes, we were not getting the TDT tax from those rooms, and it's unfortunate. I understand why properties are contracting with FEMA. From a bottom line standpoint, they're able to book out rooms, and even though it's probably at a discounted rate, that's they're not affected by the TDT. So I understand, but we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to meet with some of those groups over there and to let's just say make a plea. So I might bring some backup with me. I know Commissioner Davis is strong, so I might bring her with me on one of these trips to some of these properties. But yeah, so that's our current update on the hotels. We will constantly keep you guys updated on that, and hopefully that 185 number of FEMA rooms that we have in the marketplace being booked, hopefully that number we want to go down to 0. That's the goal, So stay tuned. Next slide now. I'm sorry. Okay, strategic plan kickoff. Thank you. Thank you for making your time last week to meet with Berkeley Young and Madeline Matlock. We are super excited about the strategic plan of Citrus County 2025. It was a great resounding success for last week. Just a couple of highlights. We did 9 events, meetings, and workshops between Monday evening and Thursday morning. We had 23 sites and attractions visited. Guys, we were wall to wall. We were all over. 51 community leaders we had these small sessions with, and this is just the beginning. No one is going to be left out, because remember, the survey is going to be coming soon. 6 areas visited: Floral City, Homosassa, Crystal River, Inverness, and then the upcoming Lecanto and Hernando. I feel like we need to start saying that more because I'm gonna tell you right now, the growth, that pyramid, it's all in the middle of the county and due to the Suncoast Parkway. Next steps, January of 2025, as Berkeley and Madeline capture all that data. They're working on the survey now, and you all know about the survey, so that'll be sent out to a lot of our community leaders as well and business owners. February 2025, they'll return to the market for our workshop with TDC. And just a reminder, this, and Berkeley mentioned this strategic plan is a board plan. Our role is from a marketing, sales, day-to-day initiatives, all the fun stuff day-to-day that we have to go through. That's our job. That's what our role is, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Your role, not to tell you what your role is, but your role is going to be long-term. It's going to be the 3 to 5 years to figure out, what this really looks like and what those initiatives really are. So that way, we as a staff and we as a TDC and as a total team can be prepared to do the greater things that we want to do for the county, whether it's development, whether it's awareness, whatever that looks like. And I believe that survey and that feedback that we're going to get from all over the county is really going to give us a good picture to say, this is what's really important. This is what people really, really want. We may think what we want in tourism, or I may have my idea of what I want, but I'm one person. But collectively, I think it's going to be very clear on what's important for this community. Any feedback from last week with Berkeley and Madeline and the strategic plan, or any questions or comments that you guys might have?
First feedback, I thought it was great. It was very, very interesting, and I think it opens a couple of opportunities. One of them is every resource that works for the county should contribute to the whole county. So as this plan is being developed, and especially as we learn and master using this data, it should be feeding the economic development and the long-term strategic plan, just like it should be feeding tourism. It's a secondary mission, but it's an important mission. Looking at the numbers, I'm wondering, in terms of helping the decisioning process, that we really are advisors to the BOCC. We don't decide anything, but we spend time with you and we put things together, hopefully to develop policies, so we have a consistent government. I would love to see some of this data further broken down, because we have a problem in this county with overall folks not supporting tourism. Until recently, it was kind of Crystal River against the rest of the world, and now even, as in the session we had, we talked about, when people make the statement, Crystal River's got enough tourism, we don't want any more, what that communicates. If we start breaking the data down further, and this is a growth process on how to use data. For example, looking at October and November in Inverness, because I will tell you, it was just totally packed, a lot of activities. I look at license plates, I was seeing license plates from all over. Providing accurate data from there that then feeds the strat plan and your day-to-day business, which then feeds the county, is how we can get to healthier balance on how we grow the county and at the same time protect what makes the county what it is.
Okay.
So, in fact, I'm gonna get you some specific questions for data retrieval, because I have this feeling, and maybe it's because I live on that side of the county, that while the numbers are down overall for tourism for the county, they're down a lot more than we may realize in Crystal River and Homosassa and Chassahowitzka, and they're up more than we realize in Inverness and probably in Floral City. And it's important to know what that dynamic is, so that, when the BOCC's got to make decisions, or when we've got to make decisions on where we throw grants, I'd love to see a little comparison, because I think the east side's been carrying the heavier load on tourism for the last couple of months. And there's no resentment to that, because it means more money in the coffers over there, but we gotta really learn how to use this data. And I know you work on it real hard, and you've got a better command than I do, but coupled with the strat plan, I'm very excited about where things are gonna go.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I was very impressed with our meeting, and I also would like to see if they can break down like that, I call it the credit card spy that sees where you're spending, to what our, how up or whatever our statistics are for events in Inverness, because we've had 7,000 people in town that, the weekend of the big tree lighting for Rotary in the city, and they were spending money. There were lines out the door of every restaurant, but we have, personally, we've got no way to keep track. Is there a way we can break that down so the city can see what we've actually brought in?
Sure, so let me answer that directly. So yes, short answer, we were just out of the Cove, Luann's amazing place. For those who have not been to the Cove, I implore you to go. Just go. It's an amazing place.
Wait, are you pitching a locally owned restaurant?
I
not a
sure am.
chain?
Okay, so Commissioner Davis has a gripe with me and my occasional Glory Days visits. Okay? All right? Occasional. I am the, you know what, I will go on to say that I believe I'm the #1 contributor to our local economy when it comes to local businesses. I spend a lot of money out of my own pocket. But no, you are correct. No, yes, we were talking about a local business. The Cove is a jewel, and we just hosted our latest PIT, Partners in Tourism meeting out there, which was amazing. And at that meeting, the cool thing about Zartico, Max, goes to your point, we are actually doing that already. We are breaking down the community numbers, because at the Cove I presented what actually Inverness was doing and how they relate to the visitor spend with restaurant money, retail, all those good things. And those numbers, not to compare them, but they were pretty good actually. And to have a lot of folks from the city there, not working for the city, but just stakeholders in the city there, it was really nice to present some of those independent numbers from not associated with the Crystal River or Homer Sassa or the county itself. So yes, we're able to break that down. And furthermore, we have this thing called POI, points of interest. And we're also able to break down of like, hey, this points of interest, whether it's stump knockers or it's the main street or if there's a Liberty Park area, we can break down visitation resident versus visitor in regards to a static date, a time of year, a full year. So we do have that number, and that's the cool thing about Zartico. So we are actually doing that, and that data is looking great because we are trying to show the individual communities what they are in fact bringing to the table. We'll continue to do that. The data will continue to improve, but it will be great to get some of these numbers into the hands of the city officials. Obviously Eric and the rest of the city, the rest of the council.
The businesses themselves, like, you didn't think you did a lot because there was a car show and you were worried about parking, but here's what you did.
Right.
And that helps with all the partnerships in general, when you can show people you do matter and you're doing awesome.
100%.
It's not just the governments.
We can definitely dig into that a little bit deeper as well. Luann, I know you were gonna.
And for the tourism haters. I mean, there's a lot of folks that have no idea how much economic impact, for example, the bike trails, and how many of the people that ride the bike trails, they're coming from Hernando County, they're coming from Pinellas County. That's tourism.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in the millions of dollars. Those kind of numbers will help people understand they've got skin in the game.
Yes.
The tourists are not our enemy.
Yeah. Luann, I'm sorry.
Is the Zartico information public? It's like, can we go to a website and just look ourselves and see? I assumed
But you
not.
can give us a call or shoot us an email. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah,
to pull up
it's
what you need.
it's a software, it's a database, so it's a user, so people couldn't just go and just do it. No, but in regards to our partners and stuff, we can definitely pretty much retrieve as much as we can, for local businesses. But for the most part, those reports will start to land on our Partners in Tourism page for your logins when we interface our website with you all, so you're able to download some of that information. But that's how that'll be, when we report it. That's the good thing about our partners in tourism events, because we try to publicly, talk about, depending on where we are, hey, this is what's going on, whatnot. But it's not set up to where a resident can just plug in an email and get that information, unfortunately. But it's definitely readily available, for sure.
Did the strategic planning firm meet with everyone on this board as well as all 5 commissioners?
So listen, yes, except for Commissioner Bays, because she was out of town. But we're going to set up a Zoom call with Berkeley, Madeline, and Commissioner Bays on that.
Okay.
But everybody on the TDC was there, either in the little workshop we had, or the individual sessions, the small sessions that we had where you guys couldn't attend certain things, and it all worked out. It was great. There was, 100%, 99.9% participation. So, and not only from our elected officials and our committees, but just our business community as well. So we were very, very happy with the diverse crowd. I would say, at Luann's place, not to talk about the Cove again, but we had a very good dynamic there. I mean, healthcare. We had both hospital presidents at the lunch. We had Steve there. We had Councilwoman Bega there. Luann was even there.
I hardly ever leave.
Josh was there. So I mean, every meeting was different, and it was a good process, and it was a good start. Now it's taking that information, and doing something with it. So I'm excited to see what Berkeley and Madeline bring to the table in regards to the survey, and that should be a good process that we go through.
Yeah. And they got an airboat ride.
So yes, I was. For those who don't know, I wear a lot of suits. And I think I was the first official person probably wearing a suit on the airboat. And I was looking clean, and I stayed clean, and I was in the front row.
No pictures didn't happen. Why do we not have that up
Oh,
on screen?
I got selfies. I got the selfie. I mean, I got long arms, so I'm pretty good with the selfie game. But it was so yes, thanks to Luann. So it was really good. I think myself, of course. So we wanted to get Berkeley and Madeline on. So we had Berkeley, for those who don't know, in the audience as well. We had our strategists, our team, the team of 2. We wanted to get them as many excursions and to see and feel and experience the county as much as possible. One of those things was an airboat ride, which was an amazing thing. It was actually my first time. Luann has been trying to get me on the airboat for a couple of months now. Just been busy, but I finally got on it, and it was great.
And you didn't do a video?
Well, there's a video of them coming in.
Yes, Luann got us a video coming in. Yeah, so.
Yeah, but was there wake involved when you come up to speed?
Yeah, we got a little wake, and that's when I had to put my Chuck Taylors up because I didn't want to get them wet in the boat. So, but yeah, so I'm sorry, Michael.
One of the things Berkeley mentioned, which I've been thinking about ever since he said it, was the Veterans Parkway, which is now the Suncoast Parkway, which is,
Glad you mentioned that.
how do I know the Florida Turnpike has 2 names. Many streets have 2 names. Could we not start a petition or something with the state to call it not only the Suncoast and Veterans, but also the Manatee Parkway?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good call. So I'm gonna probably lean on Commissioner Davis a little bit for that. I know that the county has already started not only wayfinding the process of that, but the gateway signage as well. So that's that's out there in regards to the renaming, something like that. I would have to look into. I don't know anything about how that
Like
process
Florida
is.
Turnpike is also the Ronald Reagan.
Right.
So it could be the Suncoast and the Manatee Parkway with the signs.
And honestly,
and it would give us
I
some
think Ronald
presence.
Reagan and Manatee, I think they're right. Depending on who you talk to, I think they're right on each other there as far as popularity.
If you listen close.
Does the Turnpike have a number as well?
Yes.
It's 589.
No, that's the Suncoast. Does the Turnpike
Oh.
have a
The
number?
Florida State Turnpike actually has 2 different numbers.
It's like, what, 429? It's got a number 2.
Okay, because that would make it 3 names, because number, Turnpike, and
Okay.
Ronald Reagan. So I was just trying to
Well,
make it
it's
even.
actually one long name. It's like the German language. You don't
Just push them all together.
push them together, so it would be the Veterans Parkway or Veterans Manatee Parkway, AKA 580.
Okay. Well, I'll look into it. I just don't know, but I'll look into it to see, what that looks
Maybe
like.
the sections
But it's a
of it,
good
I don't know.
idea, and that was one of our things. We know that's the new dump off, lack of a better word, and that comes into our county. Inverness to the right, Christian River to the left, and he talked about that a lot. How it needs some beefing up, and we know that it's a fairly new, obviously parkway and everything. So, I think it'd be great for us to have some, not only there, but other gateway signage as we come into the county,
No need for that.
other places.
Freaking year.
I would also like to point out how confusing it was and probably still is a little bit that US 19 is Suncoast Boulevard. So
So
we did Suncoast Boulevard and Suncoast Parkway. It's like, are you kidding me?
when I moved,
Why
when
wasn't
I,
it Nature Coast?
yeah,
if
when I
anything?
moved here, I was taught, I'm like, oh yeah, I was just on Suncoast,
Something.
the Suncoast Street, because I was
Boulevard?
confused as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so I didn't. It took me a while to figure out there was a difference, So, but yeah, the good call. I think that's a great idea.
Besides commercial signage or, gateway stuff,
Yeah.
it's just the name of the damn highway.
Right.
It's a great
Right.
idea.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Thank you for
it's
that.
Peachtree in Atlanta.
Right, Peachtree, Peachtree Street, Peachtree Street, Peachtree Street.
Yeah.
Peachtree Street.
And not only, the naming, but obviously we'd like to kind of get some connections. I know Saf's writing this stuff down, but get some information on to try to beautify up the road a little bit more. Maybe that's more of a federal or FDOT standpoint, but I know they may have some things in the workings because they're not quite finished with it yet, clearly. But that'd be a goal of ours too, and to try to, as Berkeley mentioned, when you get off, it's like there's no cash registers you drive by. It's just still land, and you dumps you off into a neighborhood, and then I think he said the first business he saw was when he was coming to our office was the Dairy Queen.
Right.
Like that was the first cha-ching he saw coming off of Venables from the Suncoast Parkway, and that's a little bit of a problem. So that's just, but we're a growing community, so it's going to change, and I'm just glad we're all a part of the change.
Well, we did bring FDOT in to look at some of our state roads in
Okay.
the county for flowers, for wildflowers.
That's right.
So presumably they could do the same for the
Okay.
Suncoast Manatee
Awesome.
Parkway.
What about like when you have the exit signs on 75 and all the signs leading up, here's your gas stations, here's your restaurants, here's your accommodations?
Yes.
Does that fit for that road as well?
I mean, I don't see why not, but we can check into it. I know Marion County just has an amazing project they're about to complete for 75. So they're about to get like this huge gateway signage area, 75 north and south. And apparently it was so successful that FDOT is giving them, or the state is giving them like another 60 million to do something else. So it was like, so I'm gonna get with my counterpart Loretta Schaefer. She is their director for Ocala, Marion County VCB destination. And I know Steve has also been in contact with Marion County on their successful program and how they, what they've done. So there's definitely the talks is definitely being spoken about, and that's a good thing, So, but Berkeley was right on a nail to hear him, who is not from here, come into our county. He was like, hey, it's a great access point. It gets you here. It's quick. But he said it's black chain link fences, power lines, and asphalt, and that's it. It doesn't, because we have a lot of beauty to our area, our destination. We all know that and understand that. But the parkway doesn't tell us that as we're getting closer and closer. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like Florida, or it doesn't feel like the Nature Coast, and it should. So I'm looking forward to going down that path. All right, that's all I have in regards to my report. I will lean on the staff now.
Okay.
Terry?
Yeah, thank you. These are October numbers. So you can see, we really did fall in line with some of our more comp set aligned. Hillsborough County, Lake County, we came in with occupancy at 75.9. The ADR is up, but I will say that it's good to see the ADR coming back down after the COVID numbers, the rise in the ADR rates there, especially on an international level. A lot of the tour operators were complaining that the rooms were just too expensive still. So that's happening all over the state as well. And then just really only one negative number, and that's room availability, and we all know why that's happened. And then the year-to-date comparisons, now granted, you know, this is our first month in the new year, tracking these numbers, but we are up in occupancy again year over year, and the same, down in ADR. I think that had a lot to do with the storms in October, because, you know, FEMA rooms, you can only charge so much, it's a government rate. And correct me if I'm wrong, my hotel peoples, but I believe that's, you can only charge them the GSA rate. And I did want to comment a little, if I could just pause right here too, is the Days Inn and the Quality Inn being at almost 100% occupancy based on FEMA rooms. Typically, their occupancy is around a 58 to 64% on a regular basis. So, yes, we're losing bed tax on them being at 100%. But it's, so instead of it being like this, it's kind of done, it's kind of like this. So, those two hotels in our,
We're losing tax on the 60%, not on the 97%.
that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Mike. Yes.
Explain that again?
We're only, normally their occupancies, it's, I'll say 60%.
60, yeah.
We're losing
Oh,
the
got
bed
it.
tax on that.
But I thought, now, okay, so I've heard we don't get bed tax, then I hear we do get bed tax from FEMA. What is it?
We do not.
Okay.
Not on the FEMA work group, yeah, on the workers. I confirmed that
Well,
with
workers
FEMA.
or displaced
Or displaced
residents.
residents,
If
correct.
it's FEMA contract, the federal government doesn't pay any tax.
The thing is with a lot of the lodging rooms, and my hoteliers need to be aware of this too. I was having a discussion with this gentleman from FEMA, and he said that when it's displaced residents, excuse me, let me get my back to you. When it's displaced residents, they are repaid, reimbursed for the rooms, and so when they're checking out of hotels, a lot of times the hoteliers are charging them the tax and the bed tax, which FEMA will not reimburse to them. So there's an issue with that as well, and they're aware of it, so, thank you. There. Next. Again, October numbers, we are down, in bed tax collection, obviously. We talked about that with the FEMA, 16%. Our
Now,
fifth, go
Terry,
ahead, yeah,
I'm sorry, and the dates always freak me out.
yeah,
October revenue is associated with September stays because it's the check we got in October. So this page is actually associated with September. And it's the money we received in October, Michael.
no. This money was collected for October,
For October.
correct. I
Okay.
changed the report to look, to be more accurate, because now we're getting that data.
Previously, we had that lag. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, this is definitely October collections. Okay, they were collected October, or November 1st, and then we got the report on it. And I was able to put it
So
into these figures.
it's the same data that the prior charts were.
That is correct, yeah, and so what we were doing before is we were trying to get this data onto the report that we sent out to you guys 2 weeks prior to the meeting, or a week prior to the meeting, but the monthly report, it was a timing issue. So now I'm doing it 2
Got it.
days before the meeting, so,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's why I wanted to clarify, though.
Yeah, yeah. So, Fifth Penny collections, 28,000. Total capital reserves, a little over 1 million. And so far, obviously, being the first month of the fiscal year, still down year over year, 16%, down 27,322 in collections for October. Was that you?
We all heard that.
Are you okay? Comments, questions?
Well, if you look at your report,
Yes, I am.
and you look at July of 2023, 23. In July, we supposedly, which is our biggest month of the year, $270,885. August, which is our flip month, because half the month goes away because people go back to school, we collected $346,000, which means that on this report, most likely, the $346,000 equates to the number one month in July versus, going back to Michael's point, so that it is like a month behind or ahead, however that works. And likewise, 2023-24 was not near as big a difference because of July being such a bad July this year, unless you trued it up somehow. But even with that said, the August numbers of 289,374 are bigger than the 274,000 that was reported in July, which I will tell you, even as much as my numbers were down significantly in July, it was still bigger than June. This is indicating that August was bigger than the month that was bigger.
And and I will say, to your point, is I did not true up or, change up the previous years. When I started this in March, I think is when we started doing this, March or February. It was right around when August came. So I need to true those up, but I will tell you that I can show you the Department of Revenue's numbers. It shows what date they were collected for, and then
Is there
what
a-
date they were distributed.
Is there a potential that we send the money in late?
That could be just by the time they reported the numbers to us, maybe
Right.
somebody like you guys hadn't submitted your tax collections yet
Yeah,
or
like
something.
my sales tax goes in the 19th of the subsequent month. So I haven't paid my November sales tax to the state yet for what I collected.
Right.
That check doesn't go or electronic deposit until next Monday or whatever it is.
The Department of Revenue numbers come out typically on the 27th or the 28th of a month, of the month after the collection. So,
But that was the collection of the month before.
Yeah.
It's always a
So
month
my
behind.
November numbers wouldn't be reported to the state until the 27th or whatever of December.
of December, correct. Right.
But do they
We're all on the same
record them
page,
as
right?
November receipts, or do they record them
We're all
as
saying
December
the same
receipts?
thing, are we not?
Right. That's,
I mean, that's what
and
counties-
even if it was trued up, August 23, 24 is higher than July 23, 24 on this report.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter what the answer is, I'm just trying to understand it.
Sure.
So, I'm sure the numbers are accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also want to know what they represent. Because I'm expecting September to have been a reasonable month because the hurricane was late in the month. And October to be the first month where we truly see hurricane impact.
Well, I think a 16% year over year down is pretty accurate.
Right, but we still had that last week of September that was squirrely, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost $3,000 according to this.
I'm happy to send out to you guys the Department of Revenue report, and I
I'd
can.
love to see
and
it,
we
just to
can-
maybe see if we
Sure.
can find the holes or not holes.
Yeah,
And
not
again,
a
it could be
problem.
us reporting our July revenues in August, and then it looks like July. I mean, I don't know, it could be us.
Yeah,
But to the point, though, if our best occupancy month is July, then our biggest collection should be in July. And that's not what's indicated on our report as it sits. It wouldn't match up with Star, for example.
Correct. That is correct.
You know how this government stuff works?
Really, does it make any difference? Because financially, it doesn't make any difference.
No, not on the long
You focus on the
term.
occupancy, then you will know whether you are up or down. Because the collection, we collect, then give it to the state, and then you report it, it's always confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we spend a lot of time on this confusion.
Yes.
But there is no answer to it unless we start collecting our own money in the county.
That, I was about to say that.
Well
that's
said,
why you're
Doctor.
here, Doctor.
good segue.
Thanks for bringing it in for a landing. While we're on this slide,
Yes.
Avis did not bring up what happened yesterday at the board meeting in terms of, Commissioner Kennard got his wish that we're gonna make an offer on Pirates Cove. And of course, he said one of the three funding sources he's relying on is our capital reserve. So, and I threw out the cautionary tale that we're not gonna be as well heeled as we have been lately in because of the hurricanes, so.
How much do they want?
We're putting in, well, total offer's 900,000, so we'd be hitting, park impact fees. Possibly the three he mentioned were park impact fees, the, Duke Fund, and TDC.
So is it a third?
I have no idea.
Haven't worked out those details.
Did not get into the weeds on that.
Yeah, and I'm going off a little bit here, but when I look at the capital reserves report, there's 5 things listed as awarded recommended. Some of them are getting long in the tooth. Can we go back to whoever the requesters are and see if that's still an interest? I know Riverwalk's going forward. Is the city still looking for those funds? I haven't heard anything about the bike trail investment since Mr. Kitchen left. Save Crystal River was awarded $250,000, but it hasn't come back to collect it in 2 years. So can we go back?
Well, that
To them.
finally, that went to the board yesterday, the MOU.
That was the Homosassa River restoration project,
Yeah.
262.
Right.
The Save Crystal River,
Well,
Kings Bay
at
restoration.
any rate, is there statute of limitations, or should we go back to them and see if they're still interested? And if not, then that makes more funds available for other projects.
It would also be judicious to do a look, because even if there is interest, some of them like that trail, if the governor vetoes the trail, it's probably not a good idea to keep trying to go through with it. I mean,
What was the bike trail again?
the original big 10-year plan was for the Fort Island Trail.
Oh, God,
Which is
yeah.
wetlands and.
That's dead, I
It
think.
was
Right.
shifted though, it was shifted to LaGrone to Three Sisters, Trail to LaGrone. It was
Okay.
shifted to that, so it's actually
Yeah.
somebody internal in the BOCC is,
Right.
that's working on that project.
Yeah, that was Commissioner Kennard's
But-
baby.
I mean, if it's
His
still
district.
active, then that's fine, and we know that. If it's something that isn't moving forward, then it frees up funds for another initiative. That's all.
Yeah, and Mike, listen, when I came on board and I met with Christina, and I was confused on the money. I was like, is this? But the good thing is it's not counted. We don't count it. We count it as already spent because it's dedicated somewhere else. But I saw some of the dates. I was like, so what's going on with this again? So I was the same way. I was like,
So the 1.2 is over and above that?
But that's an
Yes.
important
Yes.
point to me, when you say, when they justify a trail for one place and then we count it as spent, so then they consider it their money, they change what they're doing, there should be some sort of yearly or bi-yearly, affirmation that the money is still being held for a project that is what is wanted to be done, not, well, since we got the money, we'll just do this.
no, we can look into it for sure. We can look into it and inquire about just, in regards to, hey, what's the status update? And we can bring a status update at the next meeting. That's fair.
Not to put her on the spot, but we do have Crystal River in the house if Leslie wants to shed any light on anything. Any of y'all's projects? You're not looking at what we're looking at. Riverwalk,
Here you go.
Hunter Springs, Rest,
No,
That's
the
in
bathrooms.
River.
No, the bathrooms.
the bathrooms.
Oh, that is the one.
I have not heard of the bathrooms being spoken about since our previous city manager left, but I will be happy to dig into it a little further and get answers back to these guys here for
Right.
you.
My only point is the project's not going forward, then it's funds available elsewhere, and we can take it off our obligated list.
Sure, understood. I'll be happy to get back to you.
And what
guys on
is the Riverwalk status?
So permits, our last couple of landowners are signing off, and they expect to be under construction in 2025.
Good, finally.
So it's moving forward, yes. Fingers crossed.
I wouldn't mind getting a formal presentation at some point, just to remind us of where the trail's going and everything. Is it going all the way around? So,
Sure, we can do that for you.
Okay.
No problem.
appreciate it.
And that's it.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about social media. Our best performing post on Facebook was the Cove. Right before we had our PIT meeting there, I always have a dedicated post for the location that we're gonna have the PIT meeting. That did really, really well. Captain Tony, of course, he is our poster boy for the fishing page. And then on Instagram, our best performing post was what I call an umbrella post. And I wanted to show our audience what the waters looked like after the hurricanes. So I reached out to a bunch of our tour operators and got some pretty good looking underwater images. And we are still in second place with our Florida competitors. And then we did really, really well on Facebook in this time frame because people were interested and wanted to know what was going on with us after the hurricanes. So we did really well. Our stories did really well. I did a lot of, if you got to see some of the slides that I did for last month, I created a lot of stories and a lot of posts for the hurricanes to keep people updated of what was going on during the hurricanes and then also our recovery. Let's see. And then we had quite a few impressions, which was great for our media outlets. And then you can just come. And our two highest publications were exploring Florida's hidden treasures, and then about our Elvis connection. Did quite well.
Elvis looks bad there.
Yeah, it was later in his career.
I'm sorry, what?
You looked a little rough in that picture.
Oh.
Breeder around the gill. Sorry, I had to.
Time waits for no one. And then these are our upcoming fam trips. Cam Travels is part of our hurricane recovery campaign. We got him through Miles, and he's currently here. And then next week, or a couple days, we're going to have Walk and Paddle, and that is a blog that focuses on springs, so it's perfect for them to come here. And then I'm still in talks with OMG, it's Wix. He is a big comedy Florida creator. He's got something like 5 million followers on TikTok. He's quite big, and we're just trying to nail down those dates. He seems very, very nice. He's very funny. If you don't follow him, please do. He's really funny. And then in February, we have a AAA writer coming. And then...
And then I have two FAMs in January as well. One is with Visit Florida's domestic travel agents, which is exciting. They've not done that here with us before, so that ought to be fun. It would be 10 agents and a Visit Florida rep from all around the country. And then Huddle is a international trade show that is specific to just Florida destinations. That happens in the first week of February. So we're having a pre-Huddle a FAM trip of Brazilian tour operators. And these are all, we've had Brazilian tour operators here before. All but one are brand new and have not been to our destination.
That's gonna be a fun group.
They are always a fun group.
My
I know where
my
I'm gonna
sister-in-law's
retire, to be
Brazilian.
honest with you,
Yeah.
is Brazil.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is Brazilian.
Note where Huddle's gonna be this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Huddle is going to just be up the road in Marion County at the Equestrian Center this year.
Oh, cool.
So it's a big feather in the cap for Marion County.
Our area in general.
Our whole area in general. So this is the pre-Huddle FAM. I'm working on another post-Huddle FAM. We are very much desired, as we are so close, for a lot of these international tour operators to take the opportunity to come experience our destination. So I'm excited about that. But it's a big feather in the cap for a mid-size destination to host this. So maybe someday we can grow up and host it too.
Are we gonna be represented up there?
You're looking at her.
So this is, we've talked previously about augmenting by seeing if any of the other folks on the board would have the time and want to go join, I would love to. And I think that it's probably one of the best opportunities we've had in a long time.
You could probably get day passes for.
We absolutely could, or I can get, I only have the one badge and we get up to 2, so I can absolutely take someone. It's a matter of getting approval from, I guess, the BOCC or Mr. Howard. I'm not sure how that would work because we were only budgeted for one person to travel to the show.
I don't need no stinking money.
You might, I mean, again, they might just do a political day pass scenario with Visit Florida
I'll look into it, for sure, yeah.
for a person or two.
I'm happy to take whoever
To not
wants to
take
go at
appointments,
any of my
just
shows.
Show
I
up
know,
for them.
everybody loves restroom breaks and just.
Right, yeah. And that, I mean, maybe it would be a good idea for me to put my travel schedule sort of together on a calendar and send it to the TDC so if they decide they want to go to one. Is that all right with you?
How many days is huddle?
3.
So if 3 of us wanted to go, then the second badge could be split up 3 different days. It could just be shared. Or 6 people, half day each, whatever, you know. I share
Work it out.
badges all the time, going
Yeah.
back and forth sometimes to
And
trade
and
shows.
to be honest, who knows? You can probably get an extra couple badges. I mean, I can call Loretta at Marion
Yeah.
County, and she. I mean, so I don't
I
think we
assume
don't
you
have to
could.
overthink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And actually, real quick, I'll be actually in Marion County tomorrow at their tourism annual meeting. They invited me out there, so I'll be attending that tomorrow at 9:00 in the morning. So look, trying to see what some of our partners are doing, you know, because we're going to be doing some of those cool things as well in the future too. So I'm excited about that. I'm also speaking at the Rotary today, Kings Bay Rotary today. That'll be cool too. So.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to go over a few things that went on. Of course, the strategic plan visit. We had a very fun breakfast at Cattle Dog. Jackie was there. And then we took some photos at our lovely Cooter sculpture, and they loved it. They loved downtown. I actually gave a little walking tour of downtown. It was so fun. And we went to Liberty Park and then along Henderson Lake. They were very impressed and they loved Inverness. And
I believe we walked, was a total of 14 miles in Inverness? We walked 14 miles?
14 miles.
14 miles. That's my story I'm telling, by the way.
Maybe. I didn't count my
Jackie, I'm trying to
steps.
make myself look real good right now, okay?
That sounds
14
good,
miles,
Elvis. I
okay.
like that.
Put that in
I
the
like
minutes,
that.
14 miles.
We did have
14
a fun,
miles.
We did have a very fun tour of Inverness. It was very nice. And then last Friday, Florida Eats. That's a PBS show. It's a new restaurant show, and they were at Angelo's shooting an episode. And the great thing about them, the crew was super nice. And they have a few slots left for the season, so I'm going to be in contact with the producer, and I'm hoping that we can get a couple more Citrus County restaurants in that season. So
You know, we've talked a lot about the Cove today.
the Cove, that's right, that's right.
Nobody's trying to pressure her into continuing on the board, are they? There's not any of that going on.
Well, and I will say, Luann and Kemper and the whole staff, they were so great for our PIT meeting. They knocked it out of the park with the breakfast and the quiches. It was really great, really wonderful. And then, so this was the groundbreaking for the Fairfield Marriott, and you might recognize the man in the blue shirt. He's right over here, Dr. Desai. So that was it was a fun event. And then there's Avis and Lisa from Save Crystal River. And then there was another event, the Crystal River High School Career Day. Avis and I went, and I took a picture of our beautiful, our booth there. We had a lot of kids
I thought you were going
come
to say beautiful director.
I know.
by. Well,
An opportunity there.
that too. And that is it for me.
Just a quick report and update on the visitor center. This past month, we've had visitors from 11 states. Florida was mostly all of the visitors, and then just Michigan, New Jersey would be the other top 2 states. And then for international travel, Germany, Canada, England, Italy, France, Australia, and Spain.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's y'all.
Yeah, that's you guys. Any news going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, tomorrow at the Cove, Threshold 360 is gonna be there doing their first filming.
Yes.
Real excited about that.
Yes.
I will be there
So let me expand on Threshold 360. Threshold 360 is a marketing, media, GPS, database company where we're going to be using them for our partners to where when people Google your businesses and our industry partners, they'll have that video. It's almost like they're there, so they'll be able to experience their destination, their hotel, their restaurant, whatever it is they're going to do before they get there, so they'll get a good idea of what they can expect from a business and a welcome standpoint. So we're excited to relaunch that 360 Threshold campaign, and we're launching that out at the Cove tomorrow, right? Or today? Tomorrow. So excited about that, and then they are just for those who know, they do NFL, NBA. They do a lot of big time stadiums, a lot of big time destinations. They are a local company out in Florida as well. So really excited to expand our digital platform and how we use it, and to tell the story of why they should book in Citrus County. So we're excited about that, Luann. Anyone else?
Update on Inverness, we had the weekend before, right after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we did the tree lighting for the Inverness Downtown Rotary Club in conjunction with the city and the county. Then this past weekend, we did our Light Up Liberty Park with the city's Christmas tree and the light pole contest. And if you haven't checked them out, it is so fun, and the people get serious about the competition. But you see how creative people can be, and I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, because we won't meet again till next year.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
One other thing I might add is Avis has talked me into remaining on the board.
He's a sweet talker.
Yeah, she
Just-
might
just
have
a little
she might have a twisted shoulder and a bruised forearm.
Yeah,
Other
I've
than
been in
that,
therapy.
she walked away.
Just for the rest of you, I mentioned to all of us a couple weeks ago, looking ahead to scallop season, the FWC hasn't done their surveys since 2019 or something. With catastrophic spawning late in the year, the hurricanes screwed it up. And I was wondering if we could reach out to FWC to have them come and train local folks on how to do a survey, and we do our own. And, the Paul's comments last week, we want to promote the experience, not just the harvest. But there's a lot of folks in the community that focus on the harvest. I mean, there were BOCC members last year that said it was low. There was somebody in the strategic plan that said it's been horrible for a couple of years. But if we could start getting some data so we truly know what we're expecting from a harvest standpoint, I think there's enough scuba divers in the county that we could come up with people and with training, replicate that methodology a little bit, or at least give us some metric to go with going forward.
And that is, though, a wonderful point, because the more we emphasize the experience, there's surely a bottom threshold, but we're always comparing year to year on how many scallops people take away, and that's an important part. But there should be more emphasis on what a great outing it is, and what an unusual outing it is, and how beautiful our waters are.
If I can follow up the update for you on that, I've spoken with FWC, I'm in touch with Jessica over there, and I should have some more definitive events to update you on in the January meeting.
Okay, yeah, I
But
wasn't putting you on
I'm
the
on it.
spot.
Yeah.
was to let others know.
We are on it.
And that, but that's a good example, though. It was great to see them at the strap plant.
Oh, yeah, Joyce Palmer and her crew, yeah, for sure.
Well, FWC, not
FWC, no.
FWS.
Right.
Different.
Florida Wildlife Commission, not U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody from FWC
No,
was
no,
there.
no. But Joyce Palmer and her crew, yes, were there.
I got my FWs confused.
That's okay.
Yeah, they did us no favors.
I said I was done, but I lied. I'm not done. So we have our new 2025 visitors guides. I'm not even sure if you guys have seen them. I have a couple boxes in my car if anybody needs a bunch. So they look really nice. So yeah, they're here. So that's it.
Okay. Anything else before I open it to the public? Would anyone like to address the board? Last open to the public, going once, going twice? All right, our next meeting is Wednesday, January 8th, 9 a.m., right here, and we're adjourned.